Acknowledge me!
You just made the list!
I am the B-E-S-T.
I'm better than you, and you know it. Damn.
Welcome, guys, to Down Under the Mat podcast here around the pool table of relevancy in Madison Square Garage. To my left, Mr. Daniel Danielson. To my right, Rowdy Reece. I am Booker Ted, and we're here to talk about all things wrestling. As usual, we're on time this week. Thank you for no Father's Day ruining and getting it in the way.
You're welcome.
No,
the only thing that ruined our day was football.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Ravens fans.
Yeah, look, we literally have just come in from watching the final, and Reece and I got to say props to the boys. They did the club really proud. That was probably the best final of the whole
Of the weekend,
series
sure.
so round. That was weird words that came out of my mouth just then. It was the best game that we've seen. They really played their hearts out. No one gave them a chance. And yeah, they did well. And
I mean, I kind of didn't give him a chance.
well, I mean, I just hope.
Well, like that's your life as a Raiders fan. You just kind of
There's
expect it,
always
and then when it
next year.
happens, you're just like, okay, I expected it anyway.
There's always next year. All right, so on to what we're actually here to talk about, on to the wrestling.
Bit of rustling.
Now, before we get into talking about what's happened on the shows,
Controversy already, Ted?
Yeah, I just want to respond to some accusations that have been thrown mine and Mr. Danielson's way.
Oh, everyone's way. It was a general comment.
Mostly us, about being AEW haters. And I just want to clear something up. I definitely 100% do not hate AEW. When it first started, like a lot of people, I was super excited, and there actually was a really good period there where I watched AEW and not WWE. I wasn't watching WWE. Big fan of Hangman Page, Omega. I was a big fan of Darby Allin. Loved a lot of the stuff that he was doing. The women's division with the unknowns that we don't really see anymore. There was like Penelope Ford and a few others that were wrestling that I saw that go on places, but they're not really on TV as
weird
much.
things these days.
I just want to say that I'm just not a fan of a lot of the storylines that are happening. I find it a bit chaotic, and I just find it a struggle to watch. They definitely have some great matches. There's some great stuff that's happening there.
Yeah, they got some great stuff that's happening.
Which we're about to talk about. Sesame Daddy. But there's just a lot that I just find really hard to watch. And if I'm going to be honest, if there's anything I could be accused of hating, it's the Young Bucks. There, I've said it.
Yeah,
all right?
cucks.
The rest of the Elite, no problem. Omega, Hangman, love them.
So you just sold that better than the Young Bucks ever did.
Mate, you just stole my heart. You just stole my heart. No, look, I just wanted to say it because I know, and even watching back our own podcast, because I'm that much of a mark for myself, I can see why people would think that, because we've had quite a lot of negative stuff to say.
But let's be real, it's fun to shit on the MUDSHOW.
See, it's stuff like that, man. When you say that, people get upset. Don't upset them.
That's part of it, though.
Yeah, okay.
You gotta, turn the knobs a little bit.
Let's talk about some of the stuff we've seen from AEW this week.
This week, yeah.
And obviously, I think the big thing that...
What we haven't seen from AEW this week is CM Punk because he got fired.
I don't know if you heard that.
Look at that viewership drop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a big
How many was it?
That's 19%.
19%. That's... Wow.
Yeah.
If you walked into your business and said our sales are down 19%, mate, that's okay. Do we have to say more on it? I don't know if anyone wants us to talk about CM
I mean,
Punk
look,
right now.
in terms of the business side of things, you don't really want to, but it's still pro wrestling and it's still a television product in America.
Yeah.
And that is a very key indicator of how your product is going. And if your main character or main star of a show is gone and 20%, or give or take, of your audience...
Pretty sure the same thing happened around the time Punk left WWE back in the day too,
probably.
as well.
But I think that there's a lot more from WWE back then that they could just throw more John Cena at things. So it's all right.
Well, that was around the Yes movement as well, so we had that to...
Correct. And I think I am the CM Punk mark of this podcast. So you guys don't like him quite as much as I do.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate it for sure, 100%. I don't agree with what he's done in this latest incident, and I agree with this firing, and I think there's too much that they could do about it. So,
I don't think there's any way you could avoid it.
yeah, pretty much.
So.
It's his own dumb fault.
It is what it is.
But speaking of great promos,
Yes.
Samoa Joe and MJF. I think it's probably up there for when CM Punk and MJF had their promo battle.
Well, I mean, as a slightly larger man myself, I was a little taken aback by MJF and the ice cream jokes and stuff. I thought it was a bit rough to start on.
That's in reference to the fact that he played that character in Twisted Metal.
Yeah, I know. But,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
yeah.
Dude.
No, it's
Clever.
just...
MJF. Legend.
But let's just leave Joe's weight out of it, all right?
Yes.
MJF, you're better than that.
Joe is gonna kill you.
He's better than everyone, and he knows it.
Better than you, baby.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, it's setting it up because they're going to have an awesome match. I don't doubt that at all.
As long as Joe wins the tournament to get there.
I think he will.
Oh, it's going to happen.
That's pretty obvious.
Well,
I think that's exactly what they were booking.
That or, I mean, the logical booking of that whole tournament is either Samoa Joe going to win it for this, or Roderick Strong's going to win it. So that Roderick Strong gets the title shot before him.
I see.
No.
It's got to be.
No.
No. Nobody wants to see that.
Roderick Strong or Samoa Joe?
Yeah, nobody wants to see
Come
that.
No, I know. But
It's
the
not-
way that they're doing
No.
It'll be them in the final, potentially.
we have said that we don't like AEW because it's a spot fest and they don't do good storylines. Right now, the way they are playing the Roderick Strong storyline, especially with the neck problems and the fact that
Okay.
you saw in this promo with, this is me going a bit everywhere, sorry, the MJF and Joe promo.
Yep.
When Joe almost had MJF up for this muscle buster, which you know is going to hurt his neck, and MJF was obviously claiming he's already got a sore neck from the stuff with Adam Cole.
From carrying that team.
Yeah, correct. Cole runs out and helps him straight away. Cole never ran out and helped Roddy Strong when Roddy Strong had his neck injured.
Yeah.
He's playing that off against each other.
But I feel like they should play that off to a Roderick Strong and Adam Cole match instead.
Yeah, but I think the way that you do that...
Because that never happened when Undisputed Era split up in NXT. It was
No, they never did that story.
Cole and Kyle.
The other thing, too, is that I love the way that they take the neck brace off Roddy. He has his match, he wins it all, and then as soon as it's finished, they run back in and try and put the brace back on him. They're really playing up that character, and it's a shit-eating heel character, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, okay. Well, the other thing I love from AEW, to be honest, and it was a very short thing, was Christian Cage's comments about when he was asked at the press event about Edge coming to AEW, and the comment of...
You mean Adam Copeland?
Yeah, sorry, Adam Copeland. And the fact that he only has one friend, and that's Luchasaurus and himself.
That was good.
I thought that was good. I love the fact
Keep
that
kayfabe
is
alive.
alive and strong with Christian Cage, man. I'm loving that. And then I did see, and I'm going to have to lean on you guys a little bit because I didn't really see the build up to it, but Sammy Guevara and Jericho are lined up for a
Oh,
match.
Lesek Scods.
Yeah. So like we spoke about, it's heading in that direction.
They've announced it for the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, they're teasing that they both wanted to punch each other and they didn't punch each other, and I don't mind it. It'll be a good match.
Yep.
But they've sort of teased the tension between Jericho and Sammy for a while now. Let's just have the match and get it over with, I think. Or let's ignore it and let's let the sex squads keep going and being as they were.
the
But
sex
I don't think
squads.
they'll do that.
Okay. All right.
The other thing before we move on to talk about probably is John Moxley winning the international championship of Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
He's now holding it. He defended it on Dynamite. Comments came out during the week from one Bryan Danielson saying that John Moxley is the best professional wrestler in the world right now. Thoughts and comments?
Hard.
Yeah, thoughts and comments. I think now that he's made that comment, I'm going to have to take him out of my draft of the greatest of all time and replace him with Edge. Because
Maybe he's just trying to keep kayfabe alive as well.
Maybe.
But yeah, no.
I don't know. It's a weird comment to make. Like, I tell you what, he takes a blade pretty well, but best wrestler.
He takes some skewers in the head pretty well too.
Yeah, he does
apparently.
that too. Yeah, that's an interesting
But
comment.
like, no.
We're speechless. We're speechless.
I just feel like because he does so much hardcore type matches and does such crazy shit, that's why people are putting him up there. In terms of like actual wrestling, I don't feel like he's on a level as, say, a Daniel Bryan or potentially an
technically
MJF.
in ring,
No,
I agree.
No.
He will do literally anything.
I
he wants.
even think, like, promo-wise, he's not up there with some of the best.
No. Well, I mean, I saw a clip the other night. It was some... I can't even remember where I saw it. Some small indie hardcore type show somewhere in America.
He just popped up.
And yeah, they were doing a no ropes match, so the ropes were barbed wire.
Right, yeah.
And these two guys were just tearing each other apart. And then all of a sudden the lights went fully black. And then 30 seconds later, popped back up and Moxley was in the ring. And it was just, holy shit. Cool. And I like that Moxley is happy to go to the indies and sort of spread that. And then obviously give a lot of clout to that indie show now that, John Moxley showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Is that making him the best of it? Nah.
Look, I think the problem is, right, I know, well, you know, there might be people thinking, oh, you're being a bit of hypocrites because, you know, you talk about how much you love Mick Foley and stuff, but Mick Foley could still wrestle. He could still have a one-on-one match and tell a story and do things. He didn't just rely on crazy hardcore stuff all the time. Like, yes, he did some ridiculous shit, don't get me wrong, but...
Yeah. Oh, I don't undersell Moxley as a wrestler. He's good.
Oh, dude,
really...
when he wants to, he definitely can, but
Yeah.
for whatever reason,
Like,
he's very
Ringling
focused
is
on the
at
hardcore.
best in the world right now? No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, okay, well, that's AEW. I don't know if there's much else I want to talk about from AEW at the moment.
Feel free to drop in the comments that Ted's still a hater.
I'm not a hater. I'm definitely not a hater. I'm loving the MJF, Adam Cole, the Better Than You, Baby. You know, now that he's facing Samoa Joe, I'm going to watch it, man.
Ted, it's a joke. Calm down.
No, I'm
No
not.
need to
Calm
defend
down. I'm being
yourself.
personally attacked. Cool. So, we move on over to WWE. I would like to sort of review the Superstar Spectacular, but wasn't televised. There's been a couple of highlights that were shown. But I can see why it wasn't televised because where they were didn't look like it was the most high-tech
It was a house
stadium that
house
I've
show,
ever
yeah.
seen. Yeah. So, but it looks like they had fun.
And the fact that none of the Indian superstars that were there won.
Yeah.
Indus Sher was there. And
Yeah.
why?
I don't know.
That makes no sense.
I think they're trying to keep Indian wrestlers where they know they are.
No.
You're below us.
But did you see though that Great Khali was there and he said he's probably got one match left in him?
Oh, you mate. He
Omos.
Omos and Great
Oh, God, no.
Khali.
Omos and Great Khali, let's
Don't do
get
it.
it.
I just love that.
Good for WrestleMania
We-
40.
Omos versus Great Khali with a dom on a pole match.
Oh, they could just reach up and pull him down.
Yeah, exactly.
What
Who do they
I
want to
love, what I love is the fact that it got reported online as if it was like a big shock that the Great Khali turned up at the Indian wrestling show. It's like, come on, man. Of course he was going to be there. You know?
I'm surprised Jinder Mahal didn't have a match.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, was he in
He actually did.
Indus
Oh,
Sher.
he was. Yeah, he was. It was a three-way tag. But that was the weird thing is that Drew McIntyre teamed up with Sammy and Kevin. So Kevin actually wrestled, and he was there. It was
Yeah.
Sammy, Kevin Owens,
But he
and
had
Drew
two other
McIntyre.
people to, like,
Yeah,
sure he
so
can have
very
the-
odd though.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing was, we were given a crap not so long ago, but Natalia had to pull double duty.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
did.
do you know why?
Yeah, because Becky Lynch didn't get along on the plane because of a tear in her passport.
That's a bit rough.
So it's a passport, obviously.
But you know what, man? Props to Natalia for picking it up and doing 2 matches, dude.
Yeah.
Like that's, mate. Has she
I
just broken
wonder if-
another Guinness record?
I wonder if they did that just because she's the veteran. Like,
She might have volunteered to do it.
I've seen some of the Total Divas stuff, right? Every time someone new came in, they're like, oh, Natty, take this person under your wing. You're the veteran. Show them the ropes and all that sort of stuff. I wonder if they're just like, oh, you can pull double
Well, now
duty.
she's
You're a
got the Guinness
veteran.
World record of the most women's matches wrestled in India.
In one night.
Ever, probably. But anyway, let us know if you did see any of it. I don't think anyone got to see it, but it'd be interesting to see if any other footage comes out from it. Going back to the beginning of the week, Raw, which seems like an age ago because obviously we did our late podcast after Raw, but we didn't want to jump ahead and talk about it. Now we're going to talk about it because I'm going to say straight off, how awkward is it when you have a Raw taping that's better than the pay-per-view that you just aired?
Yeah. No, I can't argue with that.
And we're going to go through, before anyone has a go, we're going to go through and we're going to analyse and tell you why. But I'm sure anyone who's seen it, surely you would think the same because this whole show, for me, I don't think there's a negative, really. There might be some lower points. But I think as a whole show, it's probably one of the best Raws of the year. Just going to put it out.
Okay,
gonna put it
guide me through it, Ted.
That's a big
please.
call.
So, we started off the show with Mr. Main Event, Jey Uso, coming out to the crowd.
Us doing one.
Mr. Over.
Us.
And I think they've played this story really, really well because obviously Sammy's come out and they played off the fact that Jay wasn't going to shake his hand and...
That wasn't very oozy of him, was it?
No, it wasn't. And that was
a great callback. Great callback.
But then obviously it's what happened next.
The Drew and Riddle stuff.
Yeah. The face-off with Drew, the face-off with Riddle, and just sort of planted in their mind that, oh yeah, half the roster don't like him because the bloodline has screwed them over.
Yeah.
So I think it's
interesting to
a
see
great
how this
start.
plays out long term.
Yep. I think
But I definitely think, like, yeah. And, like, we'll talk about it later in the podcast. But, like, you compare that to what they're now trying to do with Jimmy.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that on SmackDown.
You can definitely see some favoritism here. 100%.
Definitely. And obviously that led straight into the tag match, Tornado tag match, between Drew and Riddle against the Viking Raiders.
Can we just please hurry up and turn Drew McIntyre heel?
Yeah.
They're really playing
needs
on
to
it, aren't they?
I know they are, and it'll be a bigger pop when it happens eventually because they've dragged it out.
Yeah.
But we can all see this coming a mile away, right?
He gave Kofi some death stares, man. I tell you,
Alright.
he was not happy.
Give me a Drew vs Kofi match.
That would be good, yeah.
I thought of a good joke
I'll play up.
when we talk about Jimmy later, so
Okay,
just remind me.
Why did you give it away? You should have just held on to it.
Well, I'll forget otherwise.
He's got to write it down.
Building the anticipation.
remember.
Building the anticipation.
Circle
Wait
back
for
to
it.
it.
And the Viking Raiders actually got a win,
Yeah.
which is also a bit of a shock. But you know,
Give them the titles.
Oh, don't do that. But then following this, Seth, we had there's a bit of a backstage, you know,
Conversation.
conversation, I guess you can call it promo, between Seth and Adam Pearce, and Ricochet also got involved.
Is Ricochet's there? I guess.
Yeah, that was
Still
weird.
can't cut a promo.
No. It just, you know,
You don't have to do this, Seth.
he doesn't even sound convincing when he's talking, man. Like, just, I don't know. I love him. He's fantastic in-ring ability. But as I said before, he's the Shelton Benjamin of today. Really, he's there to wrestle. He's not there to talk. But anyway, Seth came out in the ring and called Mr. Shinsuke out to the ring. Shinsuke came out. What did you think of the promo and response from Shinsuke?
I think it was dumb.
No.
As in,
Why is that all we got? Why is
Hang
that
on,
all we got?
I want to hear from both sides here because I know you both disagree. I know you're on the side of you think it was awesome. You're on the side of...
When did I say
it was
that?
great. We talked earlier. You thought it was great.
Oh, I thought it was funny, but like,
You didn't like it?
I don't feel like it progressed the story that well.
Okay.
Like, just, wow, it's
Yeah.
frustrating.
So my problem with this is that you have a already heavily injured champion, nearly beaten the night 2 nights before by Shinsuke. Shinsuke then beats him up post that match at the pay-per-view,
That we
which they
did
then
see.
show as a video package on Raw.
And then nothing.
And then nothing comes of that part. Then Seth comes out and says, I want you, Shin, but clearly I'm already injured. And then Shin walks out and says, no thanks, I don't want a title shot right now, I'm good. Why? A, you're a heel. You've got an injured champion who wants to fight you, and you're saying no to a free title shot in the middle of Raw? I don't understand it. Why?
Yeah, okay. I actually think it's kind of cool, personally. I think it's making him out to be this really manipulative, evil heel because he's not doing what Seth wants, and he's making Seth lose his mind because Seth is starting to lose control and lose a bit, and it's all part of the game. It's, no, I'm going to fight you when I want to, not when
this
you
is
want to.
just so that Seth can be stronger and
I know.
beat him.
Look, all I have to say is if it's got to end with Shinsuke winning the title because if it doesn't, it's all pointless.
They need to pull the trigger with Shinsuke this time.
So I agree with
They've
that.
ruined so many chances in the past.
But
They
what
just need to pull the trigger.
what they could have done if that's what they want and they want the mind games to be played, you don't have Shinsuke come out as the heel and say he doesn't want a title shot because no wrestler, kayfabe or not, should say no to a title match, right? You should have had Adam Pearce come out and say, Seth, you are not medically cleared, you cannot have a match. And then he's like, but I want Shinsuke. And then Shinsuke can come out and cut whatever promo.
True.
Yeah.
But we also don't know what he said in the other bit of the promo before he said no. That's the other
But he
thing.
still says no.
Yeah, but it could have been that. Maybe what he said.
didn't
Maybe
say-
gave it context.
If Adam Pearce came out and said no, then you
Look,
say Shinsuke.
I thought it was cool because I think it's him controlling the situation, which is just pissing Seth off, and I think it's the whole point of making Seth lose his mind. And
Seth's already crazy as it is,
but get away from just the haha craziness to literally lose control craziness, angry Seth. Not just I'm ridiculous, laugh at weird things, Seth. I think it's going to work. But as I said,
Stupid.
Shinsuke's going to walk away with the title. If he doesn't, then this whole thing was pointless.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or
Agreed.
someone's got to cash in on a bad back.
No.
No, I don't
Mummy
think
won't
so.
let him.
Oh, okay.
You saw it, right?
Mummy will pick us.
I know,
Yeah.
I did see that.
She'll pick.
Okay.
What's next?
Well, what happened was Ricochet then came out because he's like, Seth, you don't have to carry the match, and him and Shinsuke had a match, and it was quite obvious where that was going because Seth couldn't wrestle him, and Shinsuke got the win. Don't remember a lot from it. Ricochet
They
was
were
pretty
feuding before the Shinsuke and the title stuff, remember? It was
Yeah, I know.
Ricochet and Bronson, and
Yeah, I know.
no one cared.
But what, like, yeah, again,
No one cared then. No one cared.
Ricochet was cannon fodder for Shinsuke to win because he lost at Payback, so that was kind of obvious for me.
Yep.
And then Judgment Day came out because, they run
Judgment
Raw.
Day runs Raw.
And do
Surprised
they
they
ever
shot
run
the
Raw
story.
with all their gold and silver that they have?
Copper.
No,
Copper.
they're silver. They're
Silver
silver.
belts.
Yeah, they used to be copper, remember? Then they changed it to
Oh,
silver
that's right.
because they
Now
thought
they're
that looked
silver
better.
belts. Yeah.
They went from nickels to pennies.
But very interesting. They did the normal thing where they're all chatting away, and obviously Dom got the booze, which, I'm still loving. I'm not over it yet.
No,
I think it's kinda
I
cool.
think that hit a sour note for me because I remember maybe it was earlier this week or before Raw or late last week. I remember hearing people talking about the fact that the booze are starting to be a little too piped in.
No, they were piped in SmackDown. They were so hyped in on
Yeah,
SmackDown.
SmackDown they were. I don't think it was on Raw. But on
Maybe
SmackDown.
that's what I
also-
was thinking of. But yeah,
I mean, we'll talk later. SmackDown was in Boston, and that's obviously normally a really loud crowd,
Yeah.
but I think they still just turned up a sight.
yeah.
But obviously there's a lot else to talk about here because they were interrupted by the other JD, Mr. McDonough, who came
mate.
out with the bag.
Yeah.
And there was a little bit of me that thought, are these some new tag team titles?
Oh, mate,
I was
that's
hoping-
what I thought. I was like,
hoping-
oh my god.
I was hoping so much. I'm
And then I was like, no,
please.
that's not a usual bag that they'd have for title
No.
belts. They got the long vertical ones. And I was like,
But also, the title belts would be on a thing on the stage, and they'd be about that.
Yeah,
That's how they
exactly.
always-
But there was a little part of us that was just like, please, we've been hoping for this.
I mean, what we got was
It was
a
cool.
good consolation prize.
It was cool.
Got a new senior Mr.
Money
Money
in
in the Bank.
And it's purple, which is important.
Because Judgment Day.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to put it out there. Do you think that could lead to a storyline that briefcase may not have a contract in it when someone goes to
Yes.
I've
cash it
seen that
in?
rumor.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of rumbling about it.
Because didn't Finn swap out the contracts in another segment?
Yeah, I think they uploaded something after Raw.
They showed
Offline,
afterwards.
yeah.
So they've shown
Yeah.
online.
I reckon that could be a really good story.
Gets the contract and puts it in the
Yeah,
new.
it could be really good. I think that's a good way to go, to be honest. I feel sorry for Damien because if he doesn't win it, I think that's a bit of a loss. But
Yeah.
Well, technically, if that's the storyline they go down, Damien then doesn't fail to cash in because he never cashed in because he doesn't have the contract.
that's true.
So then he just has to get his contract back. But then again, like I said when we talked about this offline beforehand, I think this is a dumb storyline because never once ever in the history of Money in the Bank has the referee opened the suitcase. Like, yeah, contract's in there, we're good. Off you
Yeah,
go.
but you know what? They'll
just-
just change history. They'll just change it.
I don't want to do it.
Just for storyline's sake, they'll do it.
Nah.
I reckon they might keep it
Oh.
as a plan B.
Oh, who was it?
Anything else?
Was it you, Ted, that said, JD McDonough will point out, check the briefcase, check
That's
the
what
briefcase?
I said, yeah.
Yeah.
In the match,
And
he
then-
might say check it. And then they'll go, what? Why
Check
do you
the
want us to check
briefcase.
it? So I reckon they could do something with it. But anyway, we got the briefcase.
I called this a few weeks ago. I said JD's going to come in and then going to help Finn turn on them, and then they'll get out of the job.
I reckon that's where it's going. But obviously,
Mark my words.
Sammy came out again and gave it to the Judgment Day about how it took all of them to beat him in KO, and
All 6 of them.
then challenged old Dom Dom to a fight.
5.
And
Exactly what everyone didn't want. JD McDonough stepped in and said, "Oh, I'll fight you instead."
I'm totally fine for Lord Farquaad to take that match.
Look,
Have you not seen the picture? Like, put
oh man,
can you edit?
you just ruined him for me, man.
Edit it in for me. JD Madonna, Lord Farquaad.
You're pointing too far down. You got to point up.
JD Farquaad.
Oh my god.
I really like JD Madonna. I think he's quite a good wrestler.
Yeah.
And I've also seen a lot of comparisons online to him and Chris Benoit, especially in the move sets that they use.
Is that a good comparison to make?
No, I mean,
When he does diving headbutts, look at that.
diving headbutt, he does the crossface.
You know what I'm talking about. Anyway.
We're not talking about that, Ted.
Okay.
We can't
In-ring
talk about it on the
capability.
podcast. We'll get canned.
Yes.
But anyway, I'm fine with
All
it.
right. So then, look, he challenged him. He accepted. They were going to have a match later on. After this, we had Baszler versus
Okay.
Zoe Stark. No, you didn't care.
Promo, I was like, okay, match. And then, I don't know. Match.
But I think you said something interesting before, though. If it ends up them teaming up,
No,
I
that was
think
me.
that could be a good thing. Was that you?
Yeah,
that was me.
because I still don't.
I told you guys look so alike.
Have no.
Do you think that's the joke? Anyway, humor one.
I mean, like, it could happen, but, like, what do they really get out of that? Like, you just had Shayna come out of the feud with Ronda,
Yeah,
beating her,
and, you got
and
Zoe
then you
coming
just
out
got
of
to put her
future.
back in another tag team? Like, I don't feel like that's the right move to make,
but I
but
think
they
it's
could do it.
because they feel that she didn't get the rub from Trish that they were hoping for. They didn't get the reaction.
Talking
They
about
haven't
Shayna?
given her a
Oh,
chance.
talking
Shayna,
about
sorry.
Zoe.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking about Zoe Stark.
Oh,
More than anyone else,
that's
but-
Zoe's-
I don't know what they're doing with Baszler, though. You're right. Like, she just keeps hanging around and they're not doing
They need to
anything.
build her
back
up
with
to feed her to Mami.
So I was watching a video or a podcast somewhere, and they were saying how the women's division on SmackDown is fantastic. So you've got Belair, Charlotte, Asuka, Io, Bailey,
We'll talk about that
etc.
later,
Right?
won't we?
And then you look at the Raw
It's pretty weak.
It's,
women's division.
it's in a shambles at the moment.
In terms of the title, you've got Rhea.
And
You have
You
like
got Becky, who's going to NXT to
Yeah.
take on.
NXT, like
But I think that'd be great when she
Oh,
takes
yeah.
on Tiffany Stratton.
it's just for her to
Tiffany
get that title because she's never won
never
it.
had it.
So
But there's no one for Rhea.
I feel
So-
like oh,
The only way you were going to give Rhea a decent match, because the stuff with Raquel we just don't really care about anymore, is maybe Zoe or Shayna, but you need to make either of those two strong and build them up to destroy a whole bunch of people to get to Rhea.
yeah.
Not have them tag team and have crappy
true,
matches
okay.
against Kaden and Carter and whatever else.
Can't do that.
I haven't thought about it enough to give you.
Green!
I haven't thought about it enough to give you a good
Green.
idea of where it should go. So.
I
We're not there yet.
hate it.
Look, I can
It's
see
too
where they're
late.
trying to. I can see where they're trying to go with the Baszler and Stark match because obviously it took her forever to actually get knocked out in the chokehold.
Yeah, they're building
And
them
they did the thing where Baszler actually said so the camera could hear, "You did better than Ronda did." So you can see what they're trying to do with it. But yeah, we'll see where that goes. And then your guy's favourite, Chelsea Green.
Nice testy pop.
Yeah, I know. Was seen backstage interrupting Raquel with Adam Pearce and then calling her a Sasquatch, which I really thought was
Team
hilarious.
Chelsea
Should we
this
just,
one.
should
Oh,
we just call her a
dude.
back squatch?
It was hilarious. But then obviously they made a match. Boys, it's hard to host.
Pulled a shoulder. I don't know how Raquel does it.
Oh, dude. So they had the match. The match is exactly what it was supposed to be, with obviously Raquel squashing Chelsea, because even though Chelsea's one half of the tag team champion, she's not supposed to be that strong.
What did they say about Piper Niven? Not medically cleared or something?
Yeah.
She's got a. It's not an injury. She's got an illness.
Oh, okay.
So she should be off TV for a couple of weeks.
I do love, though, the little
man.
subtle stab at it's not the titles that are cursed, Chelsea. So I think they could play something with that, actually, and have a bit of a curse
Which is
thing
not
going on with
necessarily
Chelsea.
true because it happened well before Chelsea.
No, of course, but I think it's more building a storyline of Chelsea thinking at some point that she's cursed. I think you could play some sort of
okay.
storyline with that.
Have her revert back to a maniac character that she did in the Indies.
Yeah, but then you can't call her Chelsea Green.
Good. We don't
She does
want it.
that.
You can call it Chelsea Green. No, sorry, Shotzi's the crazy one, so we can't take that.
That's because Nikki crosses off being a doctor or whatever she's doing.
Oh,
Actually,
good on
smart
it.
things.
Good on it.
and
Yeah,
then
proud of that.
after this squash match was possibly
the Sas-
the Sasquatch match. The Sasquatch match was possibly one of the best non-wrestling segments
Oh,
of
is it
the
my boy?
year.
oh.
Da, 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 da,
So-
da.
The funny part to this was this got me hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah,
Right?
because you thought it was him.
Because
You thought
Miz
he was
came
there.
out and Miz was like, my guest is, and like my son was home the night I was watching this.
Mm.
He loves wrestling, but he loves John Cena because he's a child. And so Miz comes out, he's like, John Cena. So I just yell from like the lounge room, I'm like, hey, look, come on, quick. And he runs out, and then he's like, he's not there, I didn't see him. And I was like, yeah, it was a joke, sorry, I didn't realise. Go back and play Fortnite, my bad.
But you know what? Respect.
It got me, man.
Absolutely got me.
Got me.
Respect to the cameraman
For actually
and
following him
the
along his
shape
usual
on the
trail.
camera as he's doing it.
Oh.
That whole segment, man.
Give it up
Miz-
to Stu.
Yeah.
Stu, the camera was great. The only problem was Michael Cole was like, I can't see him.
Oh,
That's
man.
the joke, Michael.
We got it.
Thanks.
But he did it like 5 times. Like, we got you
We
the
get
first
it,
time,
mate.
Michael. We got it.
The reason no one's laughing is because it's not that funny.
I was laughing a lot.
No, look, that whole segment was awesome.
That was money.
Miz, as we said before, underappreciated.
And
He
like
is
with that effort
full
that he's put on, that just cements it.
Yeah.
I think it jumped the shark when he skull crushing.
Nah, that was perfect. That was perfect.
Apart from that, I thought
He
it was-
beat up
No,
John
but then
Cena.
he just like throws him over the top rope too. You can't forget about
But
it.
you know what? Respect to John Cena for turning up in India after getting beaten up by The Miz and
Yeah.
showing up at the Superstar Spectacular.
Props to him, man.
So
think-
awesome.
wow.
segment.
Recovering from such a devastating skull crushing finale.
it was brutal. It was. But yeah, I love that.
There was blood
Oh, it was
everywhere.
brilliant.
Polarizing online, whether you like it or you don't
Yeah.
like that kind of promo, but I think it was great.
Miz pulls it off so
But
that it's
like-
actually entertaining.
Yeah. Not to shit on the MUDSHOw. but like,
He goes again.
See, we're not the haters, man. We're not the haters.
I do it just to stir people up. It's great. I reckon if something like that had happened on AEW, that would have been, oh, this is the best thing ever.
MJF promo is very similar to
Yeah,
Yeah, true.
But like, I reckon most of the AEW people would have watched that and been like, what the fuck are they doing?
Headline Dan just compares MJF to
I mean,
Miz.
we'll just remember though, MJF is just a less known Miz. Isn't that what
A less famous Miz.
less famous Miz? Yeah,
Word for
is what
word.
your mate said.
I didn't say that at all.
So anyway, we had that awesome segment, and then moved on to the match that was made earlier in the night: Sami Zayn versus JD McDonough, and obviously Dirty Dom had to get involved as he always does, and helped
DD.
JD McDonough to get a win.
Double
And guess how he won? Surprise roll up,
Well, yeah,
but he had a handful of tights, so that makes it okay. And then obviously there was the bit afterwards where Sammy then went after them and exacted some revenge.
We did forget to touch on the little backstage promo that was earlier on in the night, where Rhea was like, if he wins the match, then he's almost a shoe-in.
I also do
So-
love now that it seems like the Judgment Day are now getting the budget that the Bloodline used to have for a backstage area.
Yeah.
So like with
Their own little
like
knock in the
they used to
back
have the like office with all their water bottles and all the belts and stuff up everywhere,
Yeah.
and it was all about Roman. Now they don't have to worry about that. It's like, well, where can we spend all this money? Let's give it to the Judgment Day.
Judgment Day
So
used to just find the darkest corner somewhere out the back. Yeah, go.
Yeah.
That'll do ya.
now they've got their own little set, their own little pictures up on the wall.
Love it.
I love to think like
They do run Raw. I don't know if
I know, but like I love to think about this that like they show up to Raw a couple of hours early, and then Mummy and Dom gets in, and she's like, "Go and do it." And so then Dom's like putting little pictures up on the wall because Mummy told him to.
What'd be great is if they have a room where there's some paddles and other things just hanging on the
Oh.
wall.
It's
That'll
like a
get
swing
Ted
from
going.
the roof.
No,
Don't threaten me with a good
Dom's just
time.
there on a swing as they come into camera. Oh,
And you get something like
pirates.
Kathy Kelly just walks in and just goes,
Yeah, no, leaves. So JD won. So another step towards joining JD. JD
Yep.
and JD.
and him taking the Aluva kick and telling Dom to get out
Yes.
was a nice move.
Yeah, Dom running away.
Storytelling.
Shows that he cares about the group.
True.
Yeah.
And
And
then,
before we get to that,
yeah, okay.
we then have to talk about the backstage segment between Dom and Jey Uso.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting, the fact that he came over and was just like,
I think that is the best promo that Dom's ever cut.
yeah, it was fantastic.
Because it seemed absolutely and utterly genuine.
Yeah.
That he was
100%.
trying to get Jay into the butt. To
Do
the
you, do
Judgment
you
Day.
remember?
You don't remember it at all.
No, I don't actually.
So
I'm
he's
a
essentially
little bit-
played off the fact that, like, because Ray's a terrible father. He was like, I know what it's like to have family troubles, and if you ever want to talk to someone, I'm here. And
Yeah.
like, you
I
come,
think this-
you can come join the Judgment Day.
I literally think this happened when I was going to the bathroom and I missed the
So,
entire thing.
so earlier when they had the
I
Judgment
can't believe
Day
I missed
segment,
this.
Oh man,
This is a good part of the
it
story.
is actually a
too.
good
I have to
part.
go back and watch it now.
When Rhea and that, because Rhea botched her lines a couple of times in that backstage segment, but she saved it. She said to Dom that you just have to make sure that everything we have planned for tonight happens. It has to go to plan.
Okay.
And that wasn't just talking about the match. That was talking about Jay.
Yeah, right.
And so he went over to Jay, and like he said, that I know what bad families like. I've been kicked out with a dead shit dad, blah blah blah. And he's like, I was brought into a family. They talked to me. They made me feel good about ourselves. And I'm not saying if you want, but come and talk with us. Yeah. Come and hang out with the Judgment Day. We'll look after you.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it was so well done that Jay didn't have to say anything, but you could see on Jay's face that he was like, he listened to it.
Yeah.
He will take this another step.
So this might now tie into something that happened on SmackDown, which we'll get to in a bit then too, because that's really interesting.
Part on SmackDown?
Well, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. We'll come back to
other
it.
Uso.
The other
Yeah,
Uso.
we'll come back to it. We'll come back to it.
That, I think, is a really good time, because I don't think Jay will go with the Judgment Day, but I think it gives that...
I feel like I know
you
where this
also
is
look
going.
at the fact that, for that JD and Sammy match... Oh,
that would be good.
For that JD and Sammy match, Dom came out to help JD, but Jay didn't come out to help Sammy, even though they just done that whole buddy segment to open the show.
Yeah, okay.
True.
Yeah.
So maybe Dom's words got to him.
Look, I love what they're doing, because I think we talked about this before, right? He's setting it out so the story can go multiple ways.
Yeah.
And they're really good at doing that at the moment.
We got some potential.
So, yeah, lots of potential.
Main event.
Potential for match of the year. Just laying it down now.
We said that on every podcast, the last three podcasts, where we said this could have been a match.
No, but this was, man. I mean, Gunther defending against Chad Gable. Let's lay out a couple of things. Obviously, there was a lot of tension, because if Gunther lost, he would not beat the Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah.
Winning guaranteed it. Chad Gable's family all turned up in
which made you think
matching
might
shirts.
have pulled the
He might
trigger.
do this. And I tell you what, the way the match went, there was multiple times where I literally thought, they're going to do this.
Yeah.
They're going to leave the Honky Tonk Man as the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion.
And all the IC champion promos they cut in throughout the whole show too.
Yeah.
This was
Built up. Yeah.
Dude, I'm having a hard time remembering other great Intercontinental matches that I could compare it with. I'm sure if I actually went and sat down and thought about it, but it's up there.
WrestleMania's good. I think the four-way that Miz had a couple of years ago where he retained was a really good match too. The gripe with this match that everybody I've seen online talk about is the fact that there was too many ads.
Yeah, way too many. Way too many.
And it really took the juice out of that first 5 to 10 minutes of the match, was that there was 2 commercial breaks.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Once the commercial breaks were done and they went to home, it was
brilliant. But I mean, I don't know why you would have ads in your main event. Do it for the rest of the show, man, but not in the main event. Not in that match. Not in that.
The assumption, I guess, from a TV network side of things is it's the main event, it's the end of your show, the most eyes are on your product right now. This is the most valuable time to sell.
That's where they're making them.
But I think that they need to pace that better in that if you want to do that, sure, you have Gable walk out and you set him up, ad break.
Yeah.
You have Gunther walk out,
ad break.
Yeah.
That's what they
start the match, and then you have 2 minutes of them doing a couple of things, ad break, match.
Yeah, they're just getting on with it.
They just timed it wrong, because every time there was a bit of tension built up and you think, oh, Chad's going to start taking over here, ad break. And then you come back 5 minutes later and, Gunther's on top. Like, well, how'd that happen?
No, look, valid, mate. I hate ads, so I'm on that train.
Yeah.
But then, obviously, the heartbreaking part of the match was his
daughter.
daughter, man.
Oh.
That was so genuine, too. Like, the heartbreak. Like,
She crumpled.
She really thought her dad was going to win, man. Like, that was just... And now that you've shown that, he needs to get that third match later down the track, not yet. And we need to have that shot of his daughter when he does win that match, because that'll be that story there, I tell you. That was...
She'll probably have the same face, but a little smile.
Yeah, a little smile. But I want to talk about... Because, I mean, obviously, I think we know it has to go to a trilogy.
Yes.
100%. It needs to have that third match.
Well, this
and
was
I want
the
to...
match.
No, this was...
He won the 5-minute challenge.
Yeah, that doesn't
Won by counter.
count. That doesn't
And then this was the third match.
5-minute challenge. Does that really count?
Well, 5-minute challenge, and then match restarted.
It needs good to beat him.
Yeah.
It needs to go. It needs to go to another match.
Yeah.
It does.
Can we talk about a couple of the spots towards go home for this?
Please.
I love the way that when Chad went off the ropes and Gunther caught him with his knees.
Yeah.
But then he went straight into the ankle lock.
Oh, yeah. It was
Brilliant. And that's normally a really good moment. But then people like kick out of it, roll out of it. But then for them to have Gunther roll out of it, but Chad hold on to it and keep going.
That's Kurt Angle,
That's
man.
great. That's Kurt Angle stuff.
baby.
And then when he then sinks on it and falls, that's normally the finish. Like, you don't get out of that ankle lock. And Gunther got out of it. And then for the finish, the way that he got him, powerbombed him, then picked him back up and just took his head off to prove a point.
That was mental.
So good. And Chad's bloody...
He takes a beating, man.
Nah, what does he call it? The suplex?
The rolling one.
The rolling suplex.
Yeah,
it's got a name for it. I can't think what it's called right now, but so good.
So fantastic.
And like the way it's like,
that precipice when you're just hanging on the precipice. Yeah.
Absolutely perfect.
Nah, good spot.
Because it was all booked by Jason Jordan.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's
the son of Kurt Angle.
Yes. He's not Alpha Academy. American Alpha.
American Alpha. Yeah.
Teammate. He was the one who produced the whole match.
Okay. Well,
Brilliant.
do you want it to go to another match?
Yeah, I'd like to see Gable get a title.
And okay, so my question to you is, when
When?
are they going to do it, and how do you think it should be done? What match type?
Survivor Series.
Yep.
Big platform. To have the title changeover on the platform like that, like one of the big four pay-per-views, that's your money spot.
Yep.
I think your idea you mentioned earlier today, having an Iron Man match
Baby.
to close out the show,
Yep.
would be fantastic.
Well, if you're calling it Survivor Series and you're going to survive an hour in the ring, it's the workers' title. That's a workers' match.
But then, like, we look at that. If we're going to have a War Games match, then that's your pay-per-view. You have a War Games match, and then you have the Iron Man match, and that's it.
It's just two match pay-per-views.
That's it.
Just 2 matches. No, cool. I'm glad you're on board with that. That
I'm really
makes me feel valid.
I feel like it's been a long time since we've had something like that on the main roster.
Yeah.
I know NXT's been doing it a lot, and like when they do the women's ones, it's only half an hour, but like having that 60-minute match is missing these days.
Yeah.
And I feel like in the current climate that we have in wrestling, where it's immense spot fests, having those two pull out a wrestling match over 60 minutes is going to be utterly fantastic.
I agree with you, but I'm also a wrestling mark, like we all are here. Is the casual fan, this devil's advocate, is a casual fan who only watches pay-per-views, let's say any of our partners or girlfriends or whatever, watches this and sits down to watch Gunther versus Chad Gable for an hour, going to care?
Good question.
That's not the match you can sell to the casual fan that generally you are trying to aim your pay-per-views at.
Okay.
So that's my problem with an Iron Man match. If you want to do an Iron Man match on a Raw or something and take the whole third hour, I think the diehard fans will watch that.
I think it deserves a pay-per-view.
It absolutely does.
You could go a 2 out of 3
I
falls
was
match.
Yeah, we did discuss that too, yeah.
2 out of 3 falls. Or maybe like a submission match or something. If you really want to put some form of stipulation on it. I agree it needs to be
How's Gunther going to turn the chop into a submission?
No, he chokes him out. He does.
Oh,
he does
choke.
take the whole.
No, I reckon 2 out of 3 falls because we haven't seen that for yonks. When was the last time they had a 2 out of 3 falls match?
Oh, put him in a best of 5 series, man.
Best of 5. But anyway, I think, look, that is one of the best stories that's happening.
Yep.
It's all about good wrestling. I am super excited. I really want Chad to get there though, but I think we do need a bit of a wait. I think you
need to injure him.
Yeah, take him off air for a bit.
Yeah.
Bring him back. Have that pop. Let Gunther have a good spell past the honky tonk man.
Yep.
You know, get a couple of months past it. And then drop the belt to Gable. And
Let him hit 500.
yeah, I reckon that's a good.
He should hit
number.
500 by the time
But I mean, that's
Survivor
2
Series
months.
comes around.
Yeah.
Yes,
that.
that's Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Give or take. It's
Fantastic.
November, so yeah.
But still, I love the match, man. I know what you said about the ads. The ads were awful. They were awfully timed, but the match itself was just... The crowd was going nuts.
Oh, it's so...
They had them in the palm of their hands.
Absolutely.
I'm sure...
And those new falls were
Look, I know they probably
2.999.
I know they probably don't drink too much because they're athletes and they're super fit, but if there's ever a time those two sat down and had a beer afterwards, it probably would have been after that match. After Chad consoled his daughter.
Also, fully appreciated the lack of Imperium and Alpha Academy.
Yeah.
Being involved.
It's just those two.
Straight up one-on-one.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's what you need sometimes, is just mano a mano, let's sort this in the ring, see who's better, and they did that perfectly.
SmackDown's next.
Yes.
So before we jump to SmackDown quickly, the one thing we want to touch on from NXT is that Bronson and not Bronson,
Braun Breaker.
Braun Breaker and Von Wagner match.
I keep seeing a video about the stairs being slammed on his head.
Yep.
Yeah.
That keeps coming up everywhere.
Yeah. So it was a brutal match.
Spot.
They botched a few different spots.
That one got botched, apparently. That's why his head was bleeding.
Yeah, so
So we hit him for real.
it wasn't as... It was bad.
Yeah.
It looked
Could be
bad on
like
camera
this.
because they're cut to black.
That was the point of the
Right.
Yeah.
I was wondering what I was seeing.
The problem is, and I think it's ruined some of the mystique of what occurred, was that we've now, if you look out on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it these days, there's a video footage from the fan angle where you can see
His head's tucked in.
His Von's head's on the
His
top,
head's on the
lifts the
second
chairs up,
stair,
he moves his
and then he
head.
moves his
head
head
goes
down.
down the step.
I did see that one. Yeah.
And that kind of ruins what happened.
Yeah.
But fair enough, he didn't want to die. So.
But also, Bron still hit him with the
Still hit
spear.
him.
Like,
Yeah,
even with doing that to protect him, he still hit him.
All right.
So that's a pretty crazy angle.
Maybe it'll fix his
Massive.
situation.
So that's the thing. And the other thing too was Tiffany Stratton defending the title, and now Becky Lynch is
That's cool.
she's
That's
going
cool.
down there to take it on. So
I might tune into NXT.
I watched
I
bits
got
and
a day
pieces
off.
of
I
the
can
show.
watch it.
Lucky you.
Genius. And maybe I'll do an NXT report next week.
Ooh,
Please do.
fancy.
Please do. I want to hear more about that.
Cool.
I think it'll be a good match, and I think nothing will come from it. And then I think they'll.
I
rebuild
feel
it
like
or
Tiffany
something.
Stratton is Mandy Rose 2.0, but can wrestle that.
Yes.
Wow, okay. I'll definitely have to check that out then.
And
Alright.
I loved Mandy Rose when she first came.
Yeah.
I saw the potential, but it didn't hit until she went back down to NXT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still
then
see
made it-
potential on her OnlyFans?
No comment.
Reece will report back on that next week. All right, so on to SmackDown, boys. And this one's going to be a little bit quicker because obviously SmackDown's way shorter than Raw.
And also,
it's-
there's nothing good to talk about, really.
Correct. It's nowhere near as good as Raw at the moment, and I think everybody is definitely sweating and waiting on who's going to SmackDown. We have our assumptions as to who's going to get moved
Can't
to
wait
SmackDown.
for the big dog to come back.
Oh, God. But they definitely need some bit of star power there, because you said it before, Dan. No Roman Reigns.
No SmackDown.
It's just floundering.
Who cares?
And it's really noticeable.
Oh, definitely.
I'll also say that Jay got the better deal of the Usos music. Just
yeah.
I like Jimmy's new one.
No, it's not as
No.
good. It's not as good. So we had another random. We opened the show with a random tag match again. Out of nowhere, there was no announcement as to what it was, and we now had Charlotte team up with Shotzi.
Oh,
She just seems to be teaming up with every random.
I saw a
female
meme
wrestler.
before I actually watched SmackDown. It was just a picture of Charlotte and Shotzi with Adam's family chick. What's her name?
Wednesday.
Wednesday Adams and her roommate from the TV series.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, why are they teaming together? What is this?
Yeah, it's weird. Against Damage Control, and again, match was.
So I hated this match for the pure reason, I'm sick of Charlotte Flair.
Yep.
Right? And I don't know why she's random teaming with people, I don't care. I get Shotzi in the damage control angle, it's fine, but Charlotte just got away. Can you just let EO as your women's champion look like a champion? Just for once.
They're
Just
not
let
doing
it
well
be.
with it at the moment, are they?
It's no good.
Yeah.
And I know that it was the cheap, Asuka interference that distracted her. That's why they ended up losing. Bayley shouldn't be eating those sort of pins, but whatever.
Yeah.
I just don't like the fact that they're not showing EO as or not even a dominant champion.
Just
a
a champion.
competent champion.
Yeah.
Because right now she's literally just walking around holding the belt for someone to come and take it.
No,
And that's 2 losses that she's had now.
Yes.
Since she got that belt.
I actually have another problem with this segment, personally.
Please.
It's actually to do with how the belt was treated. Because it again became. Did you see the way Oscar just threw it on the ground?
And it was face down.
Yeah.
And then it was like, well, hang on a minute, Oscar. The whole point is that that's the belt you're after, and you're showing it disrespect by the way you threw it down. But she should have maybe shoved it into EO or something if they're going to do it that way. Like throwing it on the ground kind of makes it like, oh, whatever. I'm just going to wrestle you and get this thing. It's got to be about the title. Like the title is, that's the pinnacle, man. That's the thing. Like you
Just because
chuck
it's not
it
as
on the
pretty as
ground.
this thing.
But I get exactly what you're saying. EO at the moment literally just seems like she's holding a belt.
But I liked her promo afterwards where she said, she yelled at her in Japanese and then just said,
I'm ready for it.
I am ready for a title fight. I will fight you.
And we know they can have a good match because we've already seen
Absolutely
it.
can.
So let him have a good match. Let him make something out of it. Let Io win, though. Io's got to have a win.
Strongly.
A strong win.
She needs a strong showing in that match.
It's either going to be a long match where, she overcomes the odds, or even a squash match, man. Win it quick.
No, I don't see them feeding
don't
Asuka to it
squash
like
Asuka.
that. No.
She wouldn't hurt
Let's
that.
not rob Peter to pay Paul. Let's
Oh, here we
build
go.
them both up.
How old are you?
Older than you,
Oh,
Yeah, you are, actually, old man.
Wait, damn
I
it.
forgot to mention something exciting that happened in AEW.
Well, we're going to have to talk about it another time, mate. We're way past that now.
Let's throw an AEW thing and see if the Marks are still listening to us.
Go on. Yeah,
They
you should
tuned out after the first 7
They're probably
minutes.
tuned out.
You're not excited for Jade Cargill to come back?
No, not at all.
Come on. She was the longest reigning TBS champion.
It's because there was nobody to fight her.
Undefeated streak
Yeah.
of what, like 50 plus?
Yeah.
Gotta be excited, man.
No, not really.
Yeah.
More opportunities to shit on my show.
You've got to stop saying that. Stir the pot. And then we had Jimmy attacking Mr. AJ Styles backstage.
Jimmy!
I thought this was silly because it was first Jimmy having his promo with Heyman and then just being like, I'm not in, I'm not out, whatever.
Yeah.
And then Heyman walks 6 meters and AJ's there.
Just standing there with his
standing
back
there
to
waiting
it.
for it. AJ heard your entire conversation.
Yeah, he heard the whole
You're
thing.
paying out to AJ Styles for like a week, Why would he not just walk over to you?
Yeah.
It's dumb. It's just really
Well,
poor
I think they're
production.
clutching at straws. We sort of said that before, right? Like, this whole show is clutching at straws right now until Roman gets back.
Yeah.
Or whoever's coming from SmackDown comes over.
Yeah, it's time from
Cody Rhodes.
thought of earlier.
Okay, let's talk about the draft bit. Let's talk about because they've brought it up a couple of times now that someone has to get traded. Are we all of the
It's
same
Cody.
agreements that
It's Cody.
Rhodes?
Because then you keep him away from Seth's title.
And then you put him back in line to finish the story.
Correct.
Right? Makes sense.
And then he can literally turn up, and the story is Roman won't even turn up to defend his title.
Yeah, that's fine. What if they've said it's going to be someone that's going to ruin the locker room, right? And they're not going to appreciate it. It's going to be someone that's going to have some part of the story with Jay and Jimmy. I know that's all pointing to Cody, but if you thought about if it's not Cody Rhodes and it's somebody else that's a main event star, because they've said it has to be at that sort of level to trade it across, what about if it's Akira Tozawa?
You had me hook, line, and sinker then, dude. I thought you were so serious.
Hook, line, and sinker. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Dead set. No, you said...
No, I said
you said Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens.
You said Kevin Owens. And I can see that making sense.
Yeah.
Because it gets the friction between Sammy and the locker room because of Jay, and gives Kevin a fresh start.
I guess I get what you're saying, but I'm probably more looking at it from a TV ratings, eyes on the product point of view, and more than likely they're going to be like, we want our biggest star there because viewership's probably dropping off.
Yeah, but
because Roman's not turning
USA
up.
Network
And
aren't-
Cody is their biggest star other than Roman.
But then the USA Network is going to say, hey, Raw doesn't have...
Doesn't
Cody
need him. They don't need him though.
But like,
At the moment, with everything that's going
look at
on,
how the crowd's reacting to Jay at the moment.
yeah, going nuts.
Like,
His main event.
You can't have two. I don't think you can have Jay and Cody on the same show.
yeah.
I don't think you can.
No, but it's a fair trade in terms of kayfabe from wrestling side of things. But if you're the TV network, you now have
pretty
Roman
great.
Reigns and Cody Rhodes on your Friday show that's 2 hours, whereas your flagship show on Monday.
Yeah, but I don't know if you've noticed that they've been keeping Cody very much on the non-wrestling side of things recently. They've been always wrestling, not very much. I think they're trying to skip along the line a little bit, same as Roman, right? Because Roman's not there. They're trying to get closer to certain pay-per-views where they're going to wrestle and they don't want to risk injury, I think is what's going on here. And if you put him on SmackDown, which is a shorter show, he doesn't necessarily have to wrestle as much
Yeah.
or as long.
That's a good idea.
Sure.
So I'm looking at it in that perspective, right?
Oh, look, it's Cody.
Yeah.
The storyline has to be Cody.
And you said it before about the comments he made with, I had to pull a few strings.
Yes.
That was a key comment that he said on the Grayson Waller.
And I think that's a cheeky way of him saying that I did all of this just for you, Jay, but really it's for him to get a shot at Roman.
Exactly. And then obviously Heyman was pushing Adam Pearce for that, about who's coming to SmackDown, and Adam Pearce, no, not talking about it. So they keep planting that seed, and obviously that's why I think it's Cody, because obviously Heyman's asking because Roman's asking, because they're worried that it is going to be Cody, because Cody had him at WrestleMania. Remember he said that I had.
But now he's got no bloodline left to help defend.
Well,
Except for
story.
Scott.
It's
He's going
coming
to
back.
finish the story.
Yeah, before we move on, while we're
Yeah.
still on Jimmy, my joke from earlier that I wrote.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we
yes,
put
that's
Kinnett
right.
down
We're
and
gonna
circle
come
back.
back.
So here's
Come
my thing, right? You look at it from the perspective of HBK and MOTY Jannetty, tag teams that split up. Jimmy is the one that did the HBK,
But he's the Marty.
but he's the MOTY Jannetty right
Oh,
now.
wow.
100%.
You are spot on with that, sir.
100%.
I wouldn't even say that's a joke. That's just a great
It's just like you look at what they did. Their first show where they're separate. Jay was up here and Jimmy's just down here trying to grovel his way back into
That
the
might be
bloodline.
why Jimmy's going to end up back with the bloodline by the looks of it. I think we're jumping ahead a little bit, but I think maybe they've looked at that and gone, oh, Jimmy's not getting the...
No.
the
Well,
same,
I
so-
Did anyone ever expect him to get anything
No.
out of that split?
No.
Like,
I
See,
did think
coming a
at
mile
one
away.
point they were going to try and push him over Jay when they were doing the breakup of the bloodline, but doesn't look like they're going that way. So then, Mr. Lanite, as Grayson Ball calls him, came out and made one of the best comments ever, having a big dig at Mr. Big Daddy Diesel, Kevin Nash, which I found out afterwards. I didn't realise at the time. I knew what the callback was, but the reason he did it is apparently because Kevin Nash has called him out online and criticised him for being a rip-off of Stone Cold and The Rock.
Yeah.
And says he doesn't rate him, blah, blah, blah. And so LA's come back and probably done one of the best callbacks I've seen.
I mean, that's not really fair either, because Kevin Nash is just a big rip-off of Big Daddy Cool. Sorry.
Okay.
It's one of those
No,
things,
fair
guys.
dad joke.
No, look, I thought it was brilliant. You know, if I was an idiot, I would say look at the verb,
No, look at the adjective.
look at the adjective. Oh, that's right. Look at the adjective. But we're going to look at the verb. No, it was great.
What do you think of A-Town Down Under?
Oh, brilliant.
Like, I see big potential for this moving forward. We were discussing it before you got home because you were home late.
Every time.
Every time you're late. I'm sick of it.
So
It's not like it's my house. Wait.
I wasn't expecting them to continue it, but when I saw that Grayson Waller was coming to do commentary, I was like, oh, they're going to keep them together. They're going to be a tag team moving forward. We need to get Austin Theory some character. He needs to
absolutely.
start joining dressing,
Yep.
acting like Grayson Waller.
Yeah. Give him some
That's
personality.
the money
goddammit.
tag team for SmackDown.
He could be the new cult of personality.
No, I'm not even going to acknowledge that joke. But I think they would make a great tag team. I agree with you. I see it going great places.
This guy has an idea.
Oh, I'm thinking that you create a new stable.
Faction.
Well,
Miz.
Miz gets involved as well.
Miz with Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. The three of them together, I think, could do fantastic things.
It'd be a great stable. We could maybe even draft that one day. If we did it.
But we were
Miz
talking
Taraj
about
2.0.
Miz Taraj 2.0, but what would you call them? And can I ask that question? If because Waller and A-Town Down are getting together.
Down Under.
Yeah, but it's too long, man.
No, that's
too
a
long.
fantastic.
A-Town Down Under.
A-Town Down Under.
Yeah.
I think it's too long. Too long of a name. You need
You're
something.
too old. Get out of here.
Okay, whatever. I was just asking. A-Town Down Under. And it was a good match between LA Knight and Austin Theory, actually. I thought it was a really good match.
Yeah.
And then, LA Knight got the win, which was probably the right way it should go.
And then there was the backstage segment with Heyman,
Yes.
where LA Knight got it.
Oh,
That was cool, man.
That
was
is
good.
brilliant.
well, that's right. You go first.
No, please.
No, I was just going to say, I just figured that was a good time to touch on the news that broke out a bit earlier this week where LA Knight re-signed
Yes.
to WWE, and apparently now is the time for them to start pushing him big.
Yeah,
And
I
as
agree.
soon as I saw that with Heyman, I was like,
So,
here we go.
so here's
Roman
my
needs to have an opponent before he gets back to Cody.
Here's my pitch.
Oh, they're going to give him the Cesaro treatment.
No.
A single title shot and then
No.
Shit on him.
You do the Sami Zayn treatment. That you have LA Knight is the massive crowd favourite, and then you start building, and you saw what happened with Elimination Chamber with Sammy and Roman.
Oh, great
Do
match.
the same thing
Yeah.
with Knight, and you just get a massive crowd behind him. And I mean, I don't know where Royal Rumble or any of those are next year. If any of them are in LA, you do that same build, and then you give him to Roman, and then you let the same story happen.
Yeah, true. I'm
which
just
means
thinking about
that
it.
LA Knight's not going to win, which is...
No,
No,
we
but
know,
how much-
you know no one's going to win before Cody beats Roman at WrestleMania.
Yes.
If they're still going to go with
But
it.
it was the same as last year, though. Like, nobody thought Sammy was going to beat Roman because Cody won the Rumble.
I
and
actually
was-
thought they were going to...
During the match, I thought they were going to.
Exactly.
It was a hell of a match.
And that's the thing.
They'll
The
do
same thing with Love.
Yeah, they'll do the same thing.
La. We're just going to call him La.
La.
from now on.
It was pretty funny.
Knight.
And then we had Judgment Day versus the Brawling Brutes.
Yeah. Sorry, we didn't do that in the entire segment.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, I mean, you guys already know I'm not really big on the Brawling Brutes. I think they're a bit flat. The crowd really didn't care.
I didn't realise Rich Holland could talk so well.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I mean, he kind of fine, bro.
It was all right.
Spending most of his in-ring work where he injures people all the time.
Mate, that spot where he had Finn and Priest
Yeah,
on his
double
shoulders,
suplex.
I was like,
Yeah.
this is about to go
That's going to
bad.
end badly. But I think what was more exciting than the match itself, to be honest, is what happened after the match.
Yeah.
When the Street Profits with Mr. Bobby Lashley, and they came out to Bobby's music too, which was interesting, in suits.
Just before
It's
you
the
go
better
that,
music.
just want to give props to Butch for his performance in the match.
I thought you weren't going to call him Butch. Pete Dunne.
I don't like to, but he also had a really good match. He had a really good match on NXT that ended up in a draw in that tournament.
Yeah.
He went for like a 12-minute draw or whatever against some NXT guy. But that's the kind of thing that they're trying to do, I guess, with that tournament is put some proper main stars down there, and Butch is one of them. I really hope that, he comes out of that tournament, wins it or whatever, and then goes back to Pete Dunne, and then he can go back into the Brawling Brutes. Bring Sheamus back, and then you can have Sheamus, Ridge, and Pete Dunne against the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley against the Judgment Day and against Pretty Deadly and Dolph Ziggler.
Dude, they are stacking.
4-way tag team.
They are stacking.
Hold on,
up all
hold
the
on.
factions.
No, stop a second.
What?
Did you not just hear what he said? Pretty Deadly and Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah,
Could you imagine that?
Dude,
tag
that would be
I'm a
amazing.
genius.
How good would that be?
Book me WWE.
Do you not think Dolph Ziggler when you see those two?
Not until now.
Is that man? I looked at it and went, that would work.
Up here 50.
But now he said
there
it,
for
I'm like,
dancing.
yeah, even better. No, but I'll tell you what, they are stacking on the stables and factions now.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
We really should do a
lot going
draft
on.
on stables then, because it seems to be a big focus.
Keep your eye on this. So they confronted them, and obviously there was the comment made about the bloodlines breaking, but you're not the ones who are going to take over. So that's planting seeds again about the bloodline taking,
War games.
falling apart.
Yeah, I saw an interesting post before we came on. Rumored opponents for Roman next. Bobby,
That's at Survivor Series in Chicago, but apart from that,
no, Bobby Lashley at Survivor Series. AJ Styles at the Super Showdown. Or Crown Jewel, whatever it is.
Okay.
I reckon Crown Jewel would eat up Bobby Lashley more than they would AJ.
True.
When we had the actual official WWE draft earlier in the year, as soon as I saw Bobby and AJ coming over, I was like, there's some good feuds for Roman to have.
Yeah, definitely. Bobby.
Not for them to be fed to him in the same month. I'm not down for that.
No.
But let's hope that maybe that post was wrong and it develops semi-long-term feud with one of them, not just have Roman walk over both of them before.
Don't be surprised
Cody
if Roman
finishes
even
the
just
story.
turns up to a show at this point. He's gone AWOL.
Yeah.
So AJ then was seen to have a disagreement with with his stablemates
The OC.
backstage, the OC.
Yeah. To be fair,
I love the slap of the phone out of the head.
I'm on board with AJ's reaction. I feel like OC's been doing
can have him back.
absolute dog shit
Nothing.
since they've come back. What have they been doing?
Yeah, well, turn them heels. Because I don't think Anderson and Gallows are a face team.
No.
I think AJ is a face.
Yes.
They are not a face team. So you either need to stick with this mediocre pairing of them, or turn AJ heel and make them go hard.
Could we, if we turn AJ face, could we get him to get a haircut and go back to the hair length that he had at Impact? Because it's getting way too long now, man, and it's way too straight. It's better than most of
he
the
straightened
females.
it.
I know. I would prefer him just to go back to the hairstyle he had at Impact, man. All the videos I've been watching from back to the day. Yeah, I reckon that might be good if he turns face, cut his hair off.
No.
No, AJ is face. You mean turn heel.
Well, is he actually a proper face at the moment? He
Yeah.
seems to still be turning, in my opinion.
Nah, he's a face.
No, he's
Okay. We'll cut his hair anyway.
Okay. fair.
Cut it. Anyway. And then he had his match against Jimmy Uso, which was the main event of the night.
Snooze fest.
Yeah, it wasn't fantastic. I think AJ really tried to make something out of the match, but then it was all about Heyman and Solo coming out.
Who weren't supposedly there.
No, but they were.
Jimmy
And then-
Janetti.
Yeah,
Jimmy Janetti. Oh,
Jimmy
God.
Janetti. That's good. So, yeah, look, I mean, again, not much to talk about because it was just sort of dragged on and, still wasn't confirmed that Jimmy's going to be in the bloodline. It's sort of just being...
Is he in? Is he out?
Yeah, exactly. And I think overall, SmackDown was much weaker than Raw was this week.
Yeah.
And
It also, the problem too with SmackDown was I think a lot of it was at the same time as the Super Showdown in India. So any of the stars...
The Superstar Spectacular.
Whatever. It's the same thing.
No, it's not.
Okay. But it was the same time. So there was no John Cena because he was in India.
True.
All the other storylines that they'd been built.
Who they brought back because there's no Roman Reigns and then sent him off to India.
Because it's
Smart move. Smart move. Anyway,
Hey,
see, we don't
book
just
the shots.
we don't just shit on AEW. We just chat all over SmackDown.
Yeah.
So, all right,
Come on.
cool. So,
Where's the shows?
anything else? Did you want to bring up any more AEW stuff, just in case they're still listening?
No. Just wanted to shit on the fact that I don't give a shit about Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Cool. I saw it and I was just like, oh, great. I thought she was leaving.
Well, we're going to end the show with our favourite segment for the coveted wrestler.
Is that in shot?
It's definitely...
Oh, serial killer.
Oh, I like this
Oh!
one. Okay.
Wrestler
one.
or serial
Here's
killer.
what I might be able to win.
All right, now,
So I'm 2 for 2 so far. Defending champion.
I mean, the last one you barely won.
Still won.
And then whinged like hell that it was too hard.
It's not about being too hard.
Just
It's just like be relevant,
Both of
dude.
us were on that page. It was not real.
And I got
Jake
relevant.
Roberts? I don't remember
Are
a
you,
thing.
man, are you shitting on one of the greatest of all time?
I never would have...
Did you draft him? No, you didn't. So he's not the greatest.
Oh, wow. Okay, all right, Ted.
So anyway, we're
What
playing
has Jake
for...
the Snake Roberts ever done for me? Make me lose. That's what he's done.
Jeez, that's a bit rough. Have you watched the resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts?
Well, good on him. He did some yoga.
Wow.
Isn't that DDP?
Wow.
Yeah, he did some DDPY.
Anyway, wrestler or serial killer, you guys know how the game works. We're going to go through 3 comments, and then we're going to guess, was it said by a wrestler or was it a serial killer?
Okay. I don't know how I'm going to
Dan, defending the title.
do the thumbnail for this one, Ted, but all right.
What do you mean, how are you going to do the thumbnail for it?
Oh, it's going to find a nice subtle serial killer to put on the YouTube thumbnail, but all right.
Yeah,
Find
true.
the most heinous one you can think of and put it there.
True.
I'm just going to do like Freddy vs. Jason. You'll see it.
All right. First comment. Although I am a Christian, I am not even close to perfect. I'll read it again. Although I am a Christian, I am not even close to perfect.
Christian! That's the first thing I was
Christian!
Oh, I'm Mr. Perfect. It's a
At last.
reference.
All right.
Uh,
Dan your answers. Dan your answers. Dude, it's 50-50. Come on.
I know that, but there's no context for that sentence about anything.
But obviously, if I give too much
Stab in the
context,
dark, man. Just take a stab in the dark.
if I give too much context, here on Raw, I'm going to tell you I'm not a Christian. Come on, man.
All right, next one. Come on, Ted.
All right, next one. The fear of death is far greater than the death itself, but the fear of the unknown is the greatest fear of all. The fear of death is
Yeah.
far greater than the death itself, but the fear of the unknown is the greatest fear of all.
No, I think I got.
Are we doing double points if we can guess
Yeah.
who said it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
We'll keep that. We'll keep that going. That's
Yeah, I think
That's
a
theme for the segment.
yeah. Bonus points. So we don't have to go to a tiebreaker. Are
Okay.
you ready for the last one?
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, go for it.
I don't feel guilty for anything. I feel sorry for people who feel guilt.
Oh, that's depressing.
I don't feel guilty for anything. I feel sorry for people who feel guilt. Have we got our answers?
Yes.
Yes.
Lock them in. Lock them in, Teddy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
They're going to come up on the screen. They should have already come up, actually. I put them up as we say them, so they're already here.
Good work.
So just a reminder, our first comment. Although I am a Christian, I am not even close to perfect. The defending champion, Mr. Daniel Danielson.
You first. I went first last one.
Serial killer?
And your answer, sir?
I went with serial killer, but I guessed Ted Bundy.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. AJ Styles.
Okay. All right.
Threw you off a bit, didn't it?
Yep.
Is he a relevant enough wrestler for you boys? Is that...
That's not the point.
Anyway,
So we're complaining about
we're at 0-0. We're at 0-0.
It's ruined the rest of my face.
We're at 0-0. The next one we had was the fear of death is far greater than the death itself. But the fear of the unknown is the greatest fear of all.
I went with professional wrestler and I guessed Ric Flair.
Professional wrestler Ric Flair.
So I said wrestler, and I can't, like, I'm absolutely mind blanking on his name. Who was the Undertaker, the little manager of the Undertaker?
I'm not telling you.
You were talking about Paul Bearer.
Paul Bearer. Paul Heyman. Was
Why are
like
you
that.
giving him extra points?
I'm not, because...
He's wrong.
Because
He's
serious.
wrong.
No, you're both right. It was a wrestler.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
And he was the closest to bonus points because it was actually the Undertaker.
Oh, what the?
I was gonna say
that was on my list, and I
Oh,
was like,
no.
no, it's too obvious it was going to be the Undertaker, so I changed it to Ric
That's why
Flair.
I went to Paul Bearer, because it was like, he's not
Close, man. It's 1-1. It's 1-1 down to the last
Shit.
one. So the last comment. I don't feel guilty for anything. I feel sorry for people who feel guilt.
That's 100% a serial killer, surely.
He's gone with serial killer, and what did you go
I
with?
said wrestler.
You said wrestler?
Yeah.
Are you going to go for bonus points at all, just in case?
No,
I
It
can't
doesn't
think of any other...
Drum roll, please. It was a serial killer. It was Ted Bundy.
Oh! I got bonus points earlier.
So, I believe that means I'm going to award it to you. I'm going to award it to you. The coveted Wrestler Or Trophy. Congratulations, Mr. Rowdy Roddy Reece. You are now the champion. Dan, you're going to have to brush up, man. I went for relevant wrestlers during your time. That was a request.
I've been so proud of my life.
Yeah, what would you like to say to the folks at home?
AEW's MUDSHOW.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. That was Down Under the Mat podcast. This is Mr. Daniel Danielson to my left. Thank you, Mr. Rowdy Roddy Reece, here around the pool table of relevancy in Madison Square Garage. We look forward to seeing you next time. Don't forget to drop some comments about what wrestler or you'd like to see next time. We'll see you then.